the MS Michigan Man 64 podcast. My name is Brian Wallace, and I am the MS Michigan Man 64. The MS Michigan Man 64 podcast is about chronic disease awareness. I have had multiple sclerosis for the last 27 years. It's an invisible chronic disease that I've been battling for half of my life. I want to share with you what it is like living with the chronic disease from my experiences and the experiences of other chronic disease warriors. We can fight to have a voice to those that want to listen. Together, we can motivate and educate. Hi, welcome to the MS Michigan Man 64 podcast, where I am trying to spread awareness about what it is like to live with chronic disease. I've been living with multiple sclerosis for the last 28 years. I talk about my journey as well as the journey of other chronic disease warriors all over the world, just to help people understand what it is like, how it affects our lives, how it affects our families, how it affects our careers. So today I am recording episode 100. I started this journey almost a year ago. I had goals set for myself on where I wanted to be at certain periods of time. One of my goals was to hit 100 episodes, which I am doing right now. I am not going to be talking with a guest. I'm just going to be talking solo. So I have no idea how long this is going to go, but my whole plan here is I wanted to talk about every single person that I have recorded with, who's been part of this journey with me, just to thank them and just show them a little bit of love. I'm also going to be announcing a partnership with a new media group. My podcast is going to be going on Hail Media, and I want to explain that a little bit towards the end. But I'm excited about this. This was one of my goals. I wanted to make this podcast as big as I could. And I think I'm getting there. I'm getting there with all the help that I have met along the way from all the chronic disease warriors I've had a chance to record with. And I just want to thank everybody and everybody that I've recorded with in the past. I'm giving you an open invitation when I go over to Hail Media. Just get a hold of me and we'll record on Hail and we'll get you out on that media group. And it's going to be a bigger audience. And I think it's just going to be good for everybody involved in it. All right, so let me get started here. I'm going to start back on episode 3. I recorded that episode with Maria. She was actually the first person that I met with MS and actually formed a friendship with. I coached her son back when he was a freshman. My son was a freshman back at Padua Franciscan High School in Parma, Ohio. And she came up to me and, she was scared. She'd just gotten her diagnosis of MS in 2012. And she had heard that I had MS and she wanted to just pick my brain about it, what was going on, what was she looking at. And she got diagnosed with primary progressive and she was scared. And we just got a friendship and just to look at her today and talk to her today, she's got primary progressive and she walks without a cane. And I saw her in a wheelchair and I just seen her never quit and I never, just never give up. And she did everything without a DMT. And I'm just blown away. And here's the kicker of the whole thing. Her son, the one that I coached in football for a year before my MS really took a shit, he wanted to be a neurologist. That was his dream back when he was a freshman in high school. And today he started his residency at the University of Cincinnati, I believe. And he's going to be a neurologist. It's pretty badass. Mom got MS and that's what he wanted to do. And he had his own struggles when he was younger with some health issues, and it's just a badass story. So I really want to thank Maria. Maria, obviously, I would have you on anytime. I love talking to you, and you're just a very special person to me. So the next lady that I interviewed, I actually did two with Tilly. I did episode 4 and episode 46, and I met Tilly real early when I was on TikTok. And I just instantly thought she was a badass. She was new in her diagnosis. She's young. She's in her 40s, and she looked scared. But she just looked like, I'm just going to attack this thing. And she was in a weight room every day. She's just a badass. I talk to her all the time, just about every day, either through messages or we talk on the phone. And she's just an awesome friend. She lives up in Canada and British Columbia. And I'm just blown away that I got a chance to meet her. I'm still friends with her. She's a fighter. She has her hard times, she has her great times, and we celebrate. And I listen to her cry, and we talk everything through. And she's just an awesome lady. And I really want to thank you, T. And you're always invited on my podcast. I love talking to you, and I love you to death. And then the next lady that I talked to, I've done 2 episodes with her too. Debbie lives out in Colorado, and Debbie's been diagnosed with her MS since 2014, and she's just amazing to talk to. She's got primary progressive. She's pretty reliant on a wheelchair. She can still get out of it, but her determination and her knowledge of this disease, and I get into lives with her, and we talk to other chronic disease warriors, and she's just such an awesome lady to talk to. Her knowledge. She also has POTS, and she has incredible knowledge in that disease, and I'm just very lucky that I'm friends with her, and I can't wait to meet you, Debbie. When we finally figured it out, and I think you're going to try to come out this way next year, hopefully to our thing in Michigan to meet Mama Kay, and I just can't wait. You're an awesome lady, and love you to death. Next lady I talked to in episode 6 and 71 was Trina. Trina's an MSer down in Tennessee. And me and her, our friendship. I just did a video today, posted it yesterday. I'm sorry. She knitted me a hat, and that's just the way. That's just the type of person she is. She has the biggest heart in the world. She's always trying to help people. And she's just an awesome lady. Trina, you're another lady that you're on my bucket list to meet, and I know it's going to happen, and I can't wait for that day. Episode 7, I talked to a lady by the name of Faye. She lives down in Alabama, and she was a paramedic before her diagnosis. And just her attitude and just her fight, um, she's just an amazing lady. She got diagnosed at 31, and she came on and just shared her journey. And I just really appreciate you, Faye, and you have an open invite. Now, the next guy I interviewed, this is the first time I've even heard of this chronic disease. And when I met Joe on TikTok and I started to just understand what CRPS is, I was like really intrigued by it. And I asked Joe, if he would come on and talk about it, because I think a lot of people just, they're ignorant about it. I'm ignorant. And I wanted to learn about it. And he just came on, and I was just blown away. CRPS, Central Regional Pain Syndrome. It's a brutal disease. I mean, it's crippling. The guy was an electrician, and that was his career. He fell, and that was it. His career was over, and the guy's been in pain almost just about every day. And he's just a warrior, and he's trying to figure it out. He's trying to fight. Um, I haven't talked to Joe in a while, but I hope you're doing okay, Joe. And I hope everything's all right, buddy. And you have an open invite, because I want to learn more about CRPS, and I know a lot of other people do too. Next guy, I went to, I met this guy on TikTok. His name's Jay. He's up in Michigan. Go Blue. Um, and Jay was a truck driver, and he that was his career, and that's what he did his whole life. And when he got diagnosed with his MS, I mean, he thought his career was over. And this is the we figure shit out part of MSers that I love. Jay, he stopped driving. He couldn't do over the road drives anymore because of his MS, but the guy's still in the industry. I mean, he's a trainer. He's working in the front office, and he's just a badass. He keeps getting promoted up. I mean, it's just an awesome dude to know. I got a chance to meet him at one of Adam's fundraisers in Flint last year. I got to meet Jay, just an awesome guy, man. Jay, you got an open invitation anytime you want to come on, just like anybody else. You're just an awesome dude, man. Go Blue. Episode 10, I talked to Jackie. Jackie's from New York, and she was diagnosed in 2020. She started her symptoms when she was back in high school, and she was a gymnast, and she had a pinched nerve. And it went from there. And Jackie's just an amazing lady. I still talk to her every now and then. I love her to death. And Jack, anytime you want, Jackie, you have an open invitation. Episode 11 and 39, I talked to this guy named Shaky, and I seen Shaky on TikTok, And this guy was just a walking fool, man. He's walking for Parkinson's for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And he's got Parkinson's. And I'm just like, man, oh, day, this guy's a badass. And then when I hear his story, I'm just like blown away. I mean, the guy, he had Parkinson's since he was 44 years old. And, he just got to a point in his disease where he just said, I'm done. He looked himself in the mirror. He said, I'm done with these drugs. I don't feel right. I'm taking control of this. And you fast forward now, I believe he's like 60 or something. And the guy's walking 6,000 miles a day. It's freaking unbelievable. His story is unbelievable. That's why I recorded with him twice. It's just awesome. I don't know a whole lot about Parkinson's, but I learned a whole lot talking to Shaky. Thank you so much, Shaky. The next lady I talked to is Lena. Lena's from California. She got diagnosed in 98 with her MS. She struggles to walk. And when I recorded with Lena, the fires out in Southern California were just kicking off. And we were recording and the fires were going in the background. And I was sitting there going to Lena, don't shouldn't you have to evacuate? And she was just so calm, like, hey, this happens all the time. Later on that day, within 24 hours, she had to evacuate, with MS, struggling to walk. And I just can't imagine that. Somebody, whether it's down south and you're going through a hurricane in Florida, you got MS and you got to evacuate. I just can't imagine that. And Lena, she got HSCT. She went down to Mexico, and she talks about that in this episode. Just an awesome, awesome lady that I got a chance to meet. Thank you so much, Lena. Episode 13. This one was really special for me. I actually asked both my kids if they wanted to record an episode with me, just talking about what it was like being a kid growing up with a dad that played at the University of Michigan and then got diagnosed with MS, and they only knew me with MS. My son, he didn't want any part of it, which I respect that. I mean, not everybody's for talking out loud to people like this. But my daughter actually said, yeah, my daughter, and I was really excited about that. She sat down and recorded episode 13 with me. I asked her a lot of questions that I never asked her before. I was just curious what her response would be. She's 23 years old, beautiful girl, and she's getting ready to graduate and going to be a teacher, K through 5 elementary school teacher here in Ohio. I'm just very proud of her, and she just did an awesome job of explaining what it's like being a kid when the dad has MS. Thank you so much, Megan. I'm sure you're going to do something else with me in the future. Episode 14, I talked to this guy named Braden. Braden, I have not talked to Braden since I recorded. I haven't, he's one of the few that I have not talked to. I met him on TikTok. Awesome guy. He was newly diagnosed 2024. He was still scared. He got in a car accident. He's from Indiana, but he's originally from Michigan. Go Blue. We talked a lot about the family part of it. He was, by himself in Indiana going through that diagnosis. He was scared. His family was all back up in Michigan. Just a really, really cool episode. And he's a guitarist too. And he got back into playing the guitar after we recorded. So I hope you're doing okay, Braden. I'd love to talk to you again. Episode 15, I sat down with a beautiful lady down in Texas by the name of Whitney. Whitney's a teacher down in Texas. She was diagnosed in 2022 with her MS, and she was a teacher, and then she branched out of teaching and went into personal training. And then when she got her MS, she said, I can't do this, so I had to go back into. She went back into teaching, which I just think it's awesome. MSers figure shit out. You can't do something, you get a roadblock. She figured it out, went back into teaching, and she's still just very, very active activity wise. She bikes like crazy. She goes on bike runs all the time, MS bike runs. She's just an awesome lady to talk to. Whitney, thank you so much for sharing your journey with. Now, the next guy in episode 16, I talk to this guy all the time. His name's CJ. He recorded with me as Chris. He's from Illinois, and he was working on the riverboats in Illinois at 29 years old, and he was trying to get his pilot's license. That was his dream. He wanted to be a riverboat pilot, and right before he got his pilot's license, that's when his shit started, and he got his diagnosis, and that just derailed everything. Yeah, and now he's 50 years old, and he's just awesome, man. The guy, he just moved to Kentucky, and he's doing good, and he talks to people all the time. Knew we're in this diagnosis, me and him on TikTok, and he's just an awesome part of our community a huge asset, a lot of knowledge, and he brings to the people that are new in this diagnosis. I really appreciate you, Chris. You're always got a spot on my podcast. Episode 17, I talked to a beautiful lady by the name of Brenna. Brenna was diagnosed with her MS in 2026, right around the same age as me. I was 27. She went from relapse remit to secondary progressive in 2023. And we just have a great conversation, just, the mental health part of this journey. And I really appreciate everything that you had to say, Brenna. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from everybody that I talked to because our diseases are so much different. Episode 18, I sat down with a guy from the state of Louisiana by the name of Gary. He goes by Silent Bob on his YouTube channel. He was diagnosed with his MS when he was 35 years old. And Gary actually, he struggles talking. And I have a hard time pronouncing the word that says that you have a hard time talking. It's like dysphagia or something like that. But Gary really he struggles to talk, and he was my first one that MS has affected the voice like that, and it was just an awesome way to let people hear that this disease, you can't tell that Gary struggles to talk by looking at him because this is an invisible disease, but I mean you can hear it, and we talk a lot about how that affects his mental health, the tools that he uses. He uses a lot of reading. He reads a lot. He's like an encyclopedia when it comes to movies. That's his therapy. That's what he uses to get through this disease and keep on fighting. Just an awesome dude. I really appreciate you, Gary. And I talk to you all the time. I see you on TikTok. I know you're struggling right now, man. I hope you're going to rebound and you'll be talking even better than you were before, my friend. Episode 20, I sat down with my chiropractor. I actually did an episode with him. I got turned on to the chiropractor thing from Maria in episode 3. This is the chiropractor that she goes and see, Dr. Ryan Haley. He's in Ohio up here, and I got a lot of good treatments out of the guy. He took a lot of the pain away in my legs. He did some movements on my spine. I haven't been seeing him lately just because of being going up to the lake, and I'm kind of busy to do that. But I did get benefits out of a chiropractor. So I definitely know other MSers that I talk to that use it as a tool. I've also heard some horror stories from other people that have had chiropractors. So I think that's just something that you just got to figure out on your own to see if it's any kind of a benefit for you. Episode 21, I love this lady. She's out in Baltimore, Maryland. Her name's Elle. And I could talk to Elle every day. She's one of the most creative ladies I've ever met in my life. Her TikTok videos are the ones about MS she's so spot on with everything, and they're funny. Some of them are funny, but they're all so real. I mean, this like the way she explains the symptoms, and I just loved everything about Elle when I recorded with her. She's 4'10", 100 pounds, and she's a badass. She's just a beautiful lady. She got diagnosed in 2005. I have an awesome conversation with her. Elle, I definitely want to record with you on Hail Media. I can't wait to talk to you again, and I love you to death. 22, I talked to a lady by the name of Madeline. In 2015, she got diagnosed after a car accident. And we talk a lot about the struggles of staying employed after diagnosis. Madeline's an awesome lady. I am friends with her on Facebook. I still talk to her all the time through posts. Just an awesome warrior. I really appreciate you, Madeline, and can't wait to talk to you again. 23, I talked to a beautiful lady from the state of Michigan, go Blue. And Miss Snyder, she wanted to record on behalf of her husband. Her husband got diagnosed with primary progressive, and she is actually a scientist. She's a medical lab scientist, and she works in that field. Her husband is actually an engineer and really smart guy, and he's in a wheelchair. He's primary progressive, and he actually designed his own tray for his wheelchair because he couldn't find a tray that served the purpose that he wanted. So he just said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to design my own. Um, Miss Snyder came on and talked about her the product that her and her husband came up with. It's at lessbarriers.com. You can buy them. She sent me a prototype of it, and I actually sent it down to Trina from one of my early episodes. And unfortunately, it didn't fit Trina's chair, so she sent it out to Debbie in Colorado, and it fit Debbie's chair. And she did a little video on it, and I let Miss Schneider know. And Miss Schneider actually talked to Debbie about it and asked her, got some feedback on it. So I mean, it was a win-win situation for everybody involved in it. And I just hope you're doing good, Miss Schneider, with that tray. I think it's an awesome product, and I hope it really takes off for you if it hasn't already. Episode 24. I went across the ocean over to South Shields, England, and I talked to a beautiful lady over there by the name of Jan. Jan was diagnosed with something that I even have a hard time pronouncing. I'm going to give it a whirl. It's called pheochromocytoma. And she spent 30 years of just being misdiagnosed, and it just to like hear what that even is and just to get an understanding of it. I just really appreciated her because it was just an episode that I was just like, okay, I have no idea. And it was just so much information. And I really appreciate you, Jan, just for bringing that to light because I don't think there's a lot of people that even know what that is. And you know, it was just really interesting getting a chance to meet you and hearing your story. I really appreciate you so much. Episode 25. I'm back in Michigan. I met this lady, Kathy Chester. She actually has had MS just about as long as me. She got diagnosed in 1998. A huge Michigan fan. She found me on TikTok and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you played there." And we just grew a friendship from there. I actually did a podcast episode on her podcast, and then I returned the favor. She actually went through some bullshit with her marriage not long ago, and she wanted to come on and talk about that. And we sat down and talked about just what she went through last year and Christmas. And I really appreciate your friendship. I got to meet her up in Flint at the one MS outing that I went to last May, and she's just an awesome lady. She's a personal trainer, so knowledgeable about this disease and how we got to keep moving. She's just an awesome lady. So much knowledge about this disease, and it's just a friend that I'm going to have for life. And I really appreciate you, Kathy, so much. Episode 26. I met this beautiful senorita down in Florida. Her name is Glenda. Every time I see her on TikTok, she just got the most beautiful smile on her face, and she's got the most beautiful voice when she sings. And she hasn't been diagnosed that long. She's 37 years young, and she just got diagnosed in 2023. She's got kids, and she's still trying to figure a lot of it out. She's new in her journey, and I just love her friendship. Whenever I see her on TikTok, I just love looking at her smiling face. You know, she's just a beautiful lady. I really appreciate you, Glenda. I'm gonna get down there to see you down in Florida. That's on my bucket list. I can't wait. Episode 27. I went back across the seas. I met this guy Philip. He pulled up on me on TikTok right before we recorded. The guy was scared. He just got diagnosed 2023. Um, and I've been friends ever since. And this is just how crazy this community is on TikTok. Philip was just telling me that his plan next year when he goes on holiday, he wants to come over to the United States and he wants to meet me. And if you do that, Philip, man, I'm just going to be blown away. I can't. I just it would be I'd be speechless, man, to meet you, come over here and hang out with you. And you're just an awesome dude. I talk to you all the time. Just a friend I'll have for the rest of my life over in the UK, man. Awesome dude. You're a fighter and you're figuring it out every day. You're just an awesome guy, man. And episode 28, I think I like that name Philip, so I stayed with it. And I met this other guy, Philip. He's down in North Carolina. I talk to him all the time. He's newer in his diagnosis too. 2024. He recorded with me right after he got diagnosed. I applauded him for that because most people that are new are just scared, and this guy just wanted to come on and talk about it. He's an awesome guy, big football fan, huge Green Bay Packer fan. So we talk a lot about football on the side. You know, he's a huge football fan. He's got a passion for it. He played it a little bit, and he just loves the game, and then we got that in common. And then the other cool thing about Philip is he's got this channel on TikTok and he's got like 300,000 followers and he makes moonshine. And I mean, he's just an awesome dude to talk to. He's funny. His wife is just a beautiful lady and they're both learning this MS together. And there's awesome, awesome couple. And I'm looking forward to meeting you too, Philip. We're going to do that. Episode 29 and 99. This guy here is one of my most valuable MS assets I have met. I can't believe I met him on TikTok. And my attraction to him on TikTok was he put out these videos that were just so badass, and they were all scuba diving. He was under the water and he was taking pictures. And I met, and he had MS, or he got diagnosed with MS. God, when did Jonathan get diagnosed? 2022, and he was showing these pictures of him scuba diving, and that kind of was the icebreaker for us. And I messaged him, and he starts talking to me, and ask him if he wants to record, and he says, "Yeah, sure." And then I find out the guy's the director of inpatient operations for the hospital system in the state of Massachusetts, mental health nurse. It's just an unbelievable asset to the community. The guy talks with me in both episodes a lot about the mental health part of it. 29 was the new episode when he was just new to his diagnosis. Then about 6 months later, he did 99 with me. And we just talk a lot more about the mental part of it. And he's going to be a regular on Hail Media. There's no doubt about it. Just what this guy has to bring to the table about talking about handling this disease from the mental aspect. He's just an awesome guy. Thank you, Jonathan. I can't wait to meet you in the Batmobile next year. Hopefully, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Episode 30, I met this beautiful lady from Colombia. She actually migrated over here, and then now she lives in Idaho. And she has had a lot of medical problems. She's been sick a lot in her whole life, and then we talk a lot about how she just managed that growing up, coming over from Colombia, having a lot of health problems, getting her diagnosis of MS, how she handles that. And she has an awesome Facebook page that I got to be I'm part of, and I post a lot of my podcast in the MS Rebels. And it's a great Facebook page. I made a good friend with Liliana, and I really appreciate you for recording and talking about your story, Liliana. Episode 31, I talked to a lady by the name of Kristen. Kristen is another one. And when I met her, she just blew me away. I saw on her profile that she was a military. She's a U.S. Navy vet, and I love our military. So that was the initial attraction to her. And then after I got to know her, she did 20 years in the U.S. Navy, 10 with MS and 10 without. And where she served was our U.S. Capitol. She served at in Washington D.C. for the U.S. Navy Choir. She sang for like four different presidents, Super Bowls. Just blown away. Beautiful voice. She was a Northwestern graduate, and she put in for an audition and she got it, and that was it. She wrote a 20-year career, and she recently got diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had a bilateral mastectomy. And she's just an awesome lady. She's a warrior. She's a fighter, and she's a vet. Thank you for your service, Kristen. A friend for life. I talk to you all the time, and you're going to kick MS's and cancer's ass. I know it because you're a vet, and you got that military mind. Episode 32. I sat down with a beautiful girl by the name of Katie. She is from Iowa. And Katie she's a fighter. She was diagnosed in '09. She's a huge MS advocate. When I recorded with her, she dyed her hair orange for MS Awareness Month. Um, she was 23 years old when she got diagnosed, and we talk a lot about how, being that young. I was young too, and it was just an awesome conversation. Katie, love you to death. I watch your Facebooks all the time, your posts, and you're a fighter. You let everybody know when you're struggling. You let everybody know when you're having a good day, and we need more of that. Just so people understand this disease a little bit better. All right, episode 33 and episode 63. I met this guy, David. David, I met him on Facebook, and he is a high school football coach down in Louisiana. That was my initial attraction to the guy. We had that in common. Then I get to know and talk to this guy, our ties are so deep. The guy, he's a huge LSU fan. Um, and he loves Les Miles. Les Miles, a Michigan guy. He went down there and coached at LSU. We talked a lot about Les Miles. Very big Nick Saban fan, obviously. He loves, we just talk a lot about college football. And the cool thing about this is he's a high school football coach. And the guy, he actually was the coach of the number 4 pick in the 2025 NFL draft, Will Campbell, number 4 to the New England Patriots. And when he told me that, I'm like, that is just so badass, Dave. And MS will never be able to take that away from you, man. It'll never be able to take away the fact that you coached the number 4 pick from 8th grade until all through high school. And that guy's playing in the league now. And it's just awesome, man. Dave's an awesome guy to talk to. Love talking football, love talking MS. The guy's got primary progressive. And he's a fighter. I mean, he's just still coaching. His son actually got diagnosed before him, 2 years before him. His son was a college football player, got a concussion, went to the hospital. Then they find out the kid's got MS. I mean, he didn't even know he was playing football with MS, and that's how he found it out. And then Dave gets diagnosed 2 years later. Just an awesome family. They're all fighters. His son's kicking the shit out of it. He's still coaching at the collegiate level. Just an awesome story, man. Dave, thank you. I'm sure we're going to be talking and doing a lot of stuff together. 34, I talked to this guy named Jeff, another football guy, man. The guy's an Ohio guy, and he actually got to play for Jim Tressel at Youngstown State. Pretty badass. The only thing that would have made it even better is if he would have played for him at Ohio State. But I mean, still, Jim Tressel's Jim Tressel. And I sat down and talked with Jeff. Man, he's a badass. I love talking to him. He was in law enforcement a little bit when he was in Ohio. He moved down to Texas. And we talk about his MS, how MS took his career away about 5 years ago. The guy figured out he's always into art. He figured out he was a good sculptor. I seen some of his work. I mean, he did a sculpture for Joe Burrow's foundation. He did one of him in the pocket throwing the ball. I mean, the guy's badass. I really appreciate you, Jeff. I hope we can do something again. You're a fighter, man. You're a warrior, and you figure shit out. It's the mental part. You lost your career late, and I know you were scared, and you figured it out, and you're a warrior, dude. 35, one of my favorite episodes. I did a husband and wife episode, and I wasn't even sure how this was going to go. I was just going to interview Darren. Darren, I got introduced from Jay that I interviewed. Darren and Destiny are both up in Michigan. Go Blue. And I was going to interview Darren, and then I'm talking to Darren, and Darren's talking to me and telling me that his wife, or his fiance at the time, she had MS too. And I'm like, no way. I go, so I'm talking to Destiny and Darren, and I'm like, let's do the recording with both you guys. And we did, and they knocked it out of the park. They got married in September. They they refer to themselves as the MS duo. They are just the most beautiful couple I've ever talked to in my life. Both warriors, and they're just so positive. I really appreciate you, Darren and Destiny. I'm friends with you on Facebook. I follow you guys. We still communicate. Friends for life. You guys are awesome. Tracy in episode 36. I met Tracy. She's an Ohio girl, and she was diagnosed with her MS in 2020. And I just have an awesome conversation with her. Tracy is a badass. She's a fighter, just like all of us are. We're all warriors. We all figure it out, and nothing different with Tracy. Tracy is just a fighter, and I just loved everything I had that we talked about. I'm friends with her still. I comment on her Facebook. We could talk back and forth. Another friend for life. 37. I talked to Mike in Alaska, man. This guy was a badass. 2019, he got diagnosed with his MS. The guy was 180 pounds, and you look at him now, he's like 260, and he's a bodybuilder, and he's got MS, and that's just the approach that he took. He just locked himself in a weight room, and he hasn't stopped working out, I don't think, since his diagnosis. He's got a beautiful wife. She came over from the Philippines during his diagnosis. He wasn't even sure if he should get married, bring a girl over from another country. He was scared, and she still came because they were in love with each other, and they're still together, and they're fighting the fight. And he's an awesome dude, man. Thank you. Thanks so much, Mike. Um, Episode 38, I talked to a beautiful MSer from the state of Utah, and we did this recording on purpose in May because it was Autism Awareness Month, and I asked Nell if she wanted to talk about her MS and also being the mom of an autistic warrior. I have a soft spot for autism. I got a stepdaughter that is on the spectrum, and Nell's daughter is a lower functioning autistic, and she explains that whole world of being a parent of a high needs child, and then going through her diagnosis herself just a few years ago, and the battles that presented to her and her family, and she talks about her husband. Just an awesome lady. I still talk to her all the time. Another friend for life. I mean, MSers, we are a community. We are friends. We stick together because we get each other. We get it. We get it. Episode 40, I talked to a lady by the name of Brooke. Brooke is from Florida. She was diagnosed in 2000 and she went through a divorce, and she found a Buckeye. He was actually a Ohio State basketball player, and she went through the divorce and she met him down in Florida, and it's just a beautiful story how they found each other and they fell in love, and we have a lot of fun with the Ohio State Michigan thing, and she's just an awesome lady, and I just really appreciate everything that we had to talk about in that episode. I really enjoyed our conversation a lot, Brooke. In episode 41, I sat down with another Parkinson warrior by the name of Dawn. She was diagnosed with her Parkinson's in 2011, and she struggles to talk because of her Parkinson's. It slowed down her speech and all that. And we talk about how the mental part of it. She's always concerned about how people perceive her, and and because people don't understand it, they don't understand the battles that we go through with different things that hit us, health problems that hit us, and I just really appreciated you coming on and talking about it, Dawn, because like I said, I recorded with Shaky, and then I got to meet you, and I'm like, you know what? I want to learn more about this Parkinson thing. And I just really value the friendship that I created with you too. I see your TikToks all the time, just trying to spread awareness about Parkinson's, and I really appreciate you. Episode 42. This was one that I wanted to do for so long. I love this lady. Maggie's over in the UK, and she got diagnosed with POTS, and I had really no clue about POTS. Debbie up in Colorado has POTS, but we didn't talk a whole lot about it. And in our episode, it was more to MS. She didn't mention it, but I dove into this POTS because Maggie, and this is her thing. She's a very big advocate over in the UK. She's on the TikTok channel. She's got thousands of followers. And I would get into lives, and I created this friendship with Maggie, and I asked her if she wanted to come on and just explain POTS to me a little bit better, and she did, and it was just an awesome, awesome episode. I want to do another episode with her. She just recently got into a relationship with a guy. He's another chronic disease warrior. I'm really looking forward to hearing that story, Maggie. Episode 43, I went back to Michigan, go blue. Even though he is a Michigan State fan. Oh, well, you lost, Adam. Too bad. But I sat down with this great guy named Adam. He goes by MS with the wrong MFer on TikTok. And this guy's a badass. He got diagnosed with his MS in 2019. He was working at UPS, man. He had life figured out. He was making good money. He was doing his thing, and he got his diagnosed with his primary progressive in 2019, and that just wrecked his world. I mean, he lost his career at MS, and we talk a lot about the mental part of it. And he didn't know what was next for him in his life. He lost his ability to drive. He had to move back in with his parents. But Adam figured it out. He drives around the country. He's a spokesman for the MS Society. He's an ambassador. And he figured out how he can use hand controls. He didn't let MS stop him. The guy's up and walking without a cane now. He was in a wheelchair. The guy's walking now. He's just an unbelievable guy. This is the guy that I went up to Flint to meet at his MS fundraiser. Got to meet him, Kathy Chester, a bunch of other people from TikTok. Jay was up there. It was just an awesome, awesome event. I plan on doing it next year. Adam's going to do it again. Hopefully, it's going to be bigger and badder. And hopefully more people in the TikTok community get to go up there and just hang out with a bunch of MSers and just feel normal for a little bit. Awesome episode with Adam. We'll be doing something else together. I know that, Adam. Episode 44, I talked to a beautiful lady by the name of Janine. Janine's from New Jersey, and this was just a cool story. She was actually um, on the team with the founder of Jersey Mike's, and she worked there from a startup until what it is now, until she got her diagnosis and all that, and that kind of derailed her career with them. But I mean, she was at the start of Jersey Mike's, and we talked about that before our episode. She was just an awesome lady. We talk about her diagnosis. She's 20 years um, and she actually took control of her own MS. She stopped taking a DMT and she's been kicking the shit out of MS ever since. She actually has a website, mindingyoursoul.com. And we talk about that in the episode. And she was just an awesome lady to get to know and talk to. I'm still friends with her on Facebook, still chat back and forth here and there, like each other's posts. Just an awesome lady that I got to know. Episode 45, I talked to a lady by the name of Karen. She was over in the state of Washington, and she was diagnosed with her MS in 1994. She has had this disease for longer than me, and she actually had it before there were any DMTs really out. And it was just a really cool episode, just hearing two old time MSers talk war stories about when they got diagnosed right around the same time period. And I just really appreciated her sharing that story with me and everybody else, just to help everybody understand it a little better. So the next episode, I sat down with, I went into my family, back into my family again. I sat down with my wife, Autism Awareness Month. Um, I sat down with my wife Sharon. She's the mom of an autistic warrior. My stepdaughter Maddie is on the spectrum. She's high functioning autism. But my wife talks about just the struggle of getting her daughter diagnosed at a young age, the battle she had with doctors, the fight that she had, and then she just talks about how autism still isn't understood, and it's just a really good listen just about autism, because I think it's a condition that a lot of people just don't understand. I didn't understand it when I first met my wife, and I got to learn about it just by being around her daughter. It's really an interesting, just like the different levels. It's like MS. You got people that can walk around with MS. You got autistic people that are brilliant, smart, high functioning, low functioning. There's so many variables of it. I really appreciated my wife. She kind of piggybacked on Nellie's episode that she did earlier in the month with me about autism, and my wife did an awesome job. And then the very next episode, 48, I talked to my stepdaughter Madeline, who's in pharmacy school at the University of Toledo, and we just talk about what it was like for her growing up, not knowing that she was autism on the spectrum, um, the how she looked at things, the sensory issues that she had, the struggles that she still has, the mental part of it. She's got a bunch of different other things. She's got fibro and she's got other things. We just have a great conversation from a young kid that is in medical school to talk about the pharmaceuticals, what they're learning in medical school. Just an awesome episode. I was very proud of Madeline for sitting down and talking with me. And thank you very much. Can't wait till you're a pharmacist, Madeline. 49, I sat down and talked to another Mike, another U.S. Navy vet, and I love our vets. And he got diagnosed with his MS when in 2007 when he was 27 years old. And Mike is just into biking, and he's an ambassador for the MS Society. He's heavy into biking. That was his therapy for his MS. He got into Mike's bikes for MS, and he just goes all over the country, and he does like big long-term bikes, and he bikes in his garage, and he's got a big setup. I mean, he's just a badass. I love talking to him. I really appreciate you, Mike. I just made a last minute decision too. I'm going to split this thank you up into two sections. I'm going to do the first 50, so I'm going to finish with Holly for today, and then I'm going to come back on Wednesday and I'll finish up the last 50 and talk a little bit more about hail and what's going to be going on. So I just been talking for so long. I didn't know how long this was going to take. And I'm looking at 45 minutes now. I know you guys don't want to hear me talk for another 45 minutes, so I'm going to split it up into into Wednesday, last minute decision here. But episode 50, I sat down with a beautiful MSer from the state of Wisconsin back into the Big Ten country. Her name's Holly, and Holly got diagnosed in 2012. She worked in the healthcare field, she was a nurse, and it was just really interesting how they actually pushed her out of her job. Healthcare, it was a really interesting episode about the struggles that we have with trying to be employed with a chronic disease. And just knowing that she's working for a healthcare system and what they did to her and how they pushed her out, it's just crazy. But yeah, those were the first 50 episodes. And like I said, I'm starting to grasp at talking and I'm drinking a lot. My throat's drying out. So I'm just going to cut this at 50 and I'm going to wind it up on Wednesday with the final 50. And then I'm going to jump over to Hail Media starting on next Monday. I'm partnering with them, a guy named Chris Howard. He played on a 97 national championship team. Him and a buddy of mine that I played with back from 88 to 91, Doug Cohen. They started Hail Media. I got a hold of them through Michigan Alumni Association that I belong to. And they hooked me up with Chris and Doug, and they started Hail Media. They asked me to partner with them, and we're going to be doing that together starting on Monday. I'm going to be finishing up here on my channel, and then I'm going to be converting it over to Hail Media. I'll be talking more about that in my next episode. I guess I'm going to have episode 101 to finish out the thank you to everybody that I have recorded with, because I don't want to miss anybody, and I want to talk about everybody because I just appreciate everybody that has gotten me to where I'm at on this journey, and you guys are all awesome. Don't forget, you can go over to Hail Media now and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to start throwing the link out on all my Facebooks, all my posts, and follow me there. I'm going to continue this on, and I want everybody that has recorded with me to put your voice out on Hail Media, the new platform that I'm going to be on. And it's going to be heard by a lot more people than just one old football player with MS. This is going to be a team effort. I'm teaming back up with my buddies, my brothers at the University of Michigan, and we're going to see if we can try to educate some people about what it's like living with chronic disease. All right, y'all. I've done a lot of talking, a lot of solo talking. I'm going to take a break, go spend some time with my wife. Y'all have a good day. MS Michigan Man 64. I am out.